We've got our hands on 4 mini portable speakers for around about 50 quid or under that might just be your perfect summer soundtrack supplier.
We've got the Sony XB13, the JBL Clip 4, the Soundcore Mini 3 and the Tribit Stormbox Micro 2. And by the way, we've seen the comments, guys. Everyone's been desperate to see the Stormbox Micro 2 and the Soundcore Mini 3 make an appearance on the channel, and we're looking forward to seeing how they hold up and each choosing our favourite at the end of this video.
Now there's 2 distinctive design styles here. We've got the upright cylindrical shape with a speaker at the top, or more of a rounded rectangular shape that's designed to lay down. Now who took inspiration from who, we don't know, but the closer you look between these speakers, the more similarities you find.
Starting with the smallest speaker in the lineup then, the Soundcore Mini 3 is predominantly plastic with a metal top grille and rubberized base to stop it sliding around when placed upright. There's a handy fabric strap to carry it with or attach it to a backpack, and towards the bottom of the speaker we find our controls. We've also got a small microphone and our USB-C charging port hidden behind this small plastic cover. Now there are a few colour options available, including black, blue, red and grey, but not quite as many as with the XB13.
Yeah, so there's 6 colour options available with the XB13, and in similar fashion to the Mini 3, the speaker is also located at the top of the cylindrical shape, protected by a metal grille. Now we've also got a fabric strap, but this is much thicker and tougher than that of the Soundcore, and you can completely remove this if you wish to. Now we've also got a rubberized base for grip when placed upright, and the controls are also located towards the bottom of the speaker with a small mic just underneath. And finally, as we rotate the speaker around, we also have our USB-C charging port tucked behind the plastic cover.
Moving on to the Stormbox Micro 2, and this speaker adopts a more rounded rectangular form factor, available in both black and blue. Different from the XB13 and the Soundcore, the Stormbox is a combination of plastic on the base and a hard-wearing fabric similar to that of the JBL Clip 4 on the top. Now here we have 3 large raised tactile buttons, including the multi-function button in the center, which again we'll revisit later on. Below these controls we have our power button, and to the left of that a small microphone. We also have a battery life indicator in the form of 5 small LEDs, which I personally think is a better way of displaying battery life than the method on the Clip 4, which we'll take a closer look at in a minute. We've also got our Bluetooth button on the side of the battery life indicator LEDs, and to the right of the speaker you'll notice the open USB-C charging port. Unlike the other speakers, the Stormbox has a rubber strap that is unclipped on one side to allow users the flexibility of being able to attach it to a variety of things like bike handlebars, rucksacks and more. There's also 4 small rubber feet on the base to offer some grip, but nowhere near to the same effect of the other speakers in the lineup.
Lastly, we've got the JBL Clip 4. Available in 8 colour options, this speaker is covered almost entirely in this hardware and fabric, with the exception of some plastic on the base for grip, the large JBL logo on the front and this integrated metal carabiner clip. Now in similar fashion to the Stormbox Micro 2, the Clip 4 features 3 large raised, almost identical looking plastic buttons consisting of the volume controls and play pause button. On the top of the speaker we have the battery life indicator, which is a nice addition, and this also lights up whilst the speaker is charging, but I don't think it's as effective at displaying an accurate battery life as the Stormbox's method. Rotate the speaker and underneath we find our power button and the Bluetooth connectivity button, and lastly on the bottom we've got our open USB-C charging port.
So yeah, plenty of similarities across all 4 of these in terms of design, and we've also summarised a couple of other useful bits of information about them in this table, so feel free to pause the video now and compare them.
Now, one of the most important factors when considering which of these to go for is just how durable they are.
Yeah.
Now, the XB13, Clip 4 and Stormbox Micro 2 are all IP67 rated, which means that they're dustproof and waterproof in up to 1 meter's worth of water for up to 30 minutes, which is consistent with our testing. But the Soundcore Mini 2 is IPX7 rated, which means it has the same waterproof capabilities as the others, but it's not dustproof, or it hasn't been tested for dust ingress.
Next up, and our favourite part of the video, it wouldn't be a proper durability test if we didn't drop them, so we'll drop them from about waist height on a few different surfaces and see how they fall.
Now, after having all survived our durability testing and all working perfectly well afterwards, I think it's fair to say that these speakers are all going to make reliable companions with no obvious signs of wear or tear or performance affecting damage.
Next up, let's chat about the sound quality out of these speakers. Now, for £50 and under, we need to be realistic with our expectations, as these aren't going to live up to the much higher end, more expensive portable speakers that we typically review here on our channel. But we're interested to see what these are actually capable of.
The sound from the XB13 is surprisingly loud and bassy given its form factor. The passive radiator and the sound diffusion processor helps to expand sound in any space with its DSP technology. Now, of course, the sound is still directional as it projects just from the top of the speaker, but we were quite impressed overall during our testing, especially considering that this is one of the cheaper speakers in the lineup.
Next up, the Clip 4 houses a standalone dynamic driver that helps to offer very impressive sound quality for its size and the best vocal clarity out of the 4 speakers by a long way. Unlike the Sony, we do think that it lacks a little in the low-end response, but more than makes up for that in just raw volume output and overall sound quality.
So it's the largest speaker out of the 4 that we have here. The Stormbox offers a nice and rich sound and tight bass response. Now it does go very loud, which for a mini portable speaker is also great to fill those larger outdoor spaces, but at these higher volumes it does sound a little bit muddy and definitely can't quite achieve the same sound quality as the Clip 4.
All things considered, as the smallest speaker in our comparison today, the Soundcore Mini 3 offers a somewhat decent sound given its size and price point, but cranked up to 100% volume is still by far the quietest of the range, which has to be expected. Having said that, the bass up featured in the app, along with the sound profiles, do make small but beneficial tweaks to the sound reproduction, and we would be very impressed if there is anything at all on the market that can challenge this speaker at this price point and form factor.
Now, before we get into the battery life stats and figures, just bear in mind that the stated manufacturer battery life of each of these speakers here is subject to the volume that you listen to them at. So essentially, the higher the volumes you listen at, the less battery life you're going to get, which is true for every speaker in this lineup. Now, we've been testing all of them throughout the day for hours at a time, around the 60 to 70% volume, and had no worries about battery life whatsoever. So you can be completely confident taking any of them out on a day trip or using them all evening for a party, and so on.
Now, we can't be too critical of these speakers for a lack of features at this price point, but to be fair, we were quite surprised with what these were capable of. But before we get into the features, let's quickly cover Bluetooth codecs with each speaker and do a range test.
All of them were very comfortable past the 10-meter mark, and in fact all made it as far as the 50-meter halfway line, with the Soundcore Mini reaching about 65 meters and the Stormbox going the whole length of the field. Now, the Soundcore is easily the most feature-packed in the lineup. Unlike the others, this one allows you to link over 100 of these or other Soundcore Partycast speakers together, which is a nice feature if you've got mates who also have Soundcore products. Now, you can also stereo pair the XB13 to another XB13, and you can pair the Stormbox Micro 2 to another Micro 2 for party mode, or to create a stereo sound, but you cannot connect the Micro 2 to the original Micro, and as for the Clip 4, you cannot pair this to another speaker. Now, moving on to the app support, so the Soundcore Mini is the only speaker with a functioning companion app, which allows you to power the speaker on or off, adjust volume, check battery life, and change the sound profiles, as well as make custom EQ adjustments, which is pretty unique, especially at this price point. You've also got a bass up feature in the app to add additional bass, and even a customizable in-app white noise generator with a variety of live sound effects that you can use to help you relax or help you get off to sleep if that's of interest to you. Now, we might see app support for the Stormbox in the future, but at the time of recording, a Tribit app exists but doesn't support the Stormbox Micro 2. As for the other speakers, there's no app support at all. Now, one feature that this speaker has that none of the others do is that it also doubles up as a phone charger, which means in a pinch, if you need some extra battery, you can just use the USB-C charging port to charge your phone. Although in our testing, charging was very inconsistent and only worked for 10 to 15 seconds at a time, which is also consistent with other reviews. So make sure you take the charging feature with a pinch of salt. Again, to summarize all of these speakers' features, if you'd like to pause the video now, then feel free to do so. So we've got 4 fantastic mini portable speakers for around about 50 quid, and when you consider what these actually offer for their individual respective price points, I don't think you can actually make a bad purchase here. But it's decision time. We've each got to choose our favourite, and for me, I'm going to go with the Sony XB13. I prefer this upright cylindrical form factor in comparison to the rounded rectangular shape, and I'm a massive fan of that loud bassy sound. Now on top of that, I like the fact that it can be paired with another for stereo sound, and it's also got enough features like being able to take calls through it and using the voice assistant to keep me happy at a very respectable price point. But what about yourself, mate?
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's a good choice. But now for me, I'm gonna have to disagree, and this might shock some of you, but after having spent a few days with these speakers, I've been massively impressed with the Soundcore Mini 3. It's nice and compact, it's got a wealth of features that I'd actually use, like the white noise effect, and I love that I can pair this with other Soundcore devices, not just other Mini 3s. I also spend lots of time hiking, wild camping, rock climbing, and so when space and weight are at a premium, this little speaker is perfect. I'm also not a fan of people who take their portable speakers camping and blast them for everyone to hear, so this ticks all of my boxes. And even better, it's the cheapest of the lot.
So there you have it, guys. That's my choice and Sam's, but what would you go for out of these? Let us know in the comments down below. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts.